updates, privacy updates, data security updates, just to update you guys today. All right, but before we move forward, go ahead, smash that like button below, and definitely helps us know that we're doing a good job. It helps with the YouTube algorithm so many more people can be updated with the relevant tech news, guys. So we're going to be taking news off of our LinkedIn page today, guys, too. So if you haven't signed up for our LinkedIn page, if you haven't followed us too, please click the link in the description. You can follow us on LinkedIn and other social media channels as well. All right, but without further ado, let's get started with the news today. Right, guys, so pretty much Postmates workers, guys. So if you're working for Postmates, you know, the food delivery company, Postmates workers are currently getting scammed out of their earnings by phishing schemes, guys. So over at the markup is an alarming story about a rash of phishing scams that have been targeting gig workers for Postmates. Drivers are receiving phone calls from people claiming to be Postmates employees who urge the workers to give over their login details, usually under the guise that it's necessary to keep a driver account in good standing or avoid claims of fraud. Right, so definitely be aware, guys. If you're a Postmates worker right now and you're watching this, please be aware of these phishing scams. These scammers will often disguise as the actual company worker, asking you to give your login information. And what I would say to that is, honestly, if they're the worker of the company, if they're the company, right, they should have your information. So if they're asking for more information than you already applied for the job to, right, they should have all that relevant information on your tax information. If it's personal, social security information, they should already have that in their files. If they're asking for it again, I would not give it. And then also just be aware of any other links that, they probably are sending you via email, via text message, or anything else. Maybe it's a Telegram group. Please, guys, be aware of these scams, guys. It's not only in Postmates as well, guys. There are other companies where, phishing schemes seem to happen as well, too. The most commonly used tactic, too, guys, is the link that they'll send you via your email or your text message, or even a Facebook message or a WhatsApp message. Be very wary of those links. If it's in an email, if it says it's the business, really check to really actually see if it's the business. I would just contact them in a separate email just to even make sure. All right, so this is definitely important to notice, guys. And if you do have a problem with this, guys, if you are a Postmates worker, you have been getting scammed, please contact Postmates as the official company, and they should, hopefully be able to, mitigate this situation and hopefully get your earnings back and just get your account into, safe standing, and to make sure that, just follow their protocol and whatever they're saying as well, too. All right, guys. Moreover, too, guys, we also have WhatsApp details. What will happen to users who don't agree to privacy changes, right? So it looks like WhatsApp, they're updating their privacy policies, their privacy changes, right? So, and this makes sense too, because Facebook that owns WhatsApp, Mark Zuckerberg, they're always he's getting hit with these privacy laws and regulators trying to make sure that everything is working properly. So WhatsApp said earlier this week that it will allow users to review its planned privacy updates at their own pace, and will display a banner to better explain the changes in its terms. But what happens to its users who do not accept the terms by the May 15 deadline? Right, so in an email to one of the merchant partners reviewed by TechCrunch, Facebook-owned WhatsApp said it would slowly ask such users to comply with the new terms in order to have a full functionality of WhatsApp starting May 15th, guys. So please guys, if you're using WhatsApp, if you're a heavy user of WhatsApp, make sure you're going over the new updated privacy changes, the privacy policies, and agreeing to the terms, or else you probably will have your account suspended and not be able to use WhatsApp. So definitely just be aware. If you want to take a quick scroll through or actually read through, definitely go through it at your own pace. All right guys, so that's definitely good news to know there too. Moreover, guys, we also have Apple. It's rumored to be working on the MagSafe battery for the iPhone 12, guys. So if you've been watching our channel so far, we know that in previous episodes we've talked about how iPhone 12 and even earlier iPhones too were having trouble with the MagSafe accessories. It wasn't really being compatible or was affecting charging. So it looks like alongside the Apple iPhone 12 introduced a new MagSafe line of accessories that snap to the back of the smartphone, right? According to the new report, there's a portable MagSafe battery pack in the works, right? So they're currently working on something right now. As per Bloomberg, the add-on has been in the works for at least a year and could well have launched already if it wasn't for issues related to the software that are causing delays, right? So one such issue is the pack reporting that is overheating when it isn't apparently, right? So again, we talked about this earlier, right guys, how the pack, if you put the MagSafe right on the iPhone, there could be overheating, right? So now it looks like MagSafe, the company, is actually in the works to fixing those issues. And once they actually finally release these products and to make sure that it's actually safe for iPhone users, we'll definitely keep you guys updated as well. And if you guys want to learn more about this, the MagSafe accessories, to see more information about when it should be okay to use and stuff like that, guys, go ahead, follow us on LinkedIn, click into the article, and you can learn more about it there. All right guys, so we also have more of hardware specific, so FTTC versus FTTP. Some of you computer geek nerds might know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys, even that if you're tech savvy, if you don't really know, you probably have seen these terms before but have no really idea. So really, what's the difference between these two, guys? So FTTC versus FTTP could just be a bunch of letters to many people, but to those about to commit to a broadband internet deal, it's important to know the difference. To be clear, that they stand for fiber to the cabinet and fiber to the property, right? So it looks like fiber to the cabinet and fiber to the property are both of those meanings, right? So both of the forms of fiber broadband internet, both are forms of fiber broadband internet, but they work differently, and as a result offer you varying speeds as an end result, right? So the most important thing to note here is, aside from those speeds, is that one version is built for the future, for future faster speeds, and the other is limited. So if you're looking to invest in the long run, knowing the difference can be very, very helpful, guys, right? So this is, if you guys, are shopping for cable providers, right? Probably Comcast or Verizon or RCN or whatever. You'll probably see these terms used a lot too, and they're different terms, right? So obviously the companies would let you know the best fiber connectivity to use, right? For wherever you're located, right? And it really does depend wherever you're located, because if you use a certain type of fiber that is not compatible kind of with the location that you're at, especially there's new technology rolling out, new 5G materials rolling out. It really depends where you're at, right? So maybe if you're in the small town, you might use a limited a broadband, and maybe if you're in the city, maybe you might need something a little bit more a little bit more sophisticated, right? So this is definitely important to know, right? So if you want to learn more about these two guys, go ahead and click into the article on LinkedIn. You can follow and learn more about that. So it looks like there's a new Android, right? So this Android's under display selfie camera isn't great, but it's a sign for future phones. So what phone are we talking about here? So the ZTE Axon 25G is the first commercially available smartphone to feature an under-display selfie camera, and we can confirm it works, right? So we've been using the ZTE Axon 25G for a few weeks, and the selfie camera works well, but it isn't without issues, right? So below we'll show you some of the selfie shots it's capable of taking and talk you through our first impressions of the camera itself, guys. So let's take a couple let's see if there's a couple photos we can look at in real time to see what this is about. Let's see here. So it also, let's see, so the under camera display teardown. So if you want to, let's see about this concept. So it looks like this is actually a photo here taken with the ZTE Axon 25G, and as you can see, guys, this picture looks very crystal clear. The selfie of this guy looks very crystal clear, very nice. Alright, so let's take a look at the concept video of under display selfie camera, right? So let's take a couple minutes just to watch this.
It's time to take a look at the world's first under display camera from the inside. This Axon 25G has secrets that need revealing. It'll be interesting to see if our own mortal human eyes can peer through the transparent display once it's open, or if that's something only the camera can do. Let's get started. Getting inside the Axon 20 is pretty similar to other glass-back smartphones. A lot of heat and gentle drying. Even though there's not an official water resistance rating on this guy, there is still a lot of glue. I can use my razor blade around the Noxiv logo, taking special care not to put too much stress on the glass, since glass is glass and all. The back glass is pretty awesome, like a Nazgul dressing up for a work party. Finally, the back glass does come off. Having a good suction cup is always useful. And now that we're inside the phone, I think my new screwdriver set is a bit of overkill, since all I really need is a Phillips head. I'll put a link for this new toolkit down in the description. There are 20 screws holding down the back plastics. One of those screws is hidden up here under the NFC coil, which I'm 94% sure isn't supposed to be removed just yet. The interesting part of this phone, though, is that instead of just the rear plastics being removed, it's actually the whole back plastics and the side rails that come away from the screen in one piece, something that we don't see very often. ZTE is keeping us on our toes over here. The dual rear flash has some gold contact pads that just rest on top of the motherboard. We can unplug the battery, just like a little Lego, and the bottom speaker can also come out at this point. It has some of those gold contact pads for communicating with the motherboard. The vibrator motor is one of those old school eccentric rotating mass motors from the olden days. But keep in mind that this phone is also only $450 and still has some bleeding edge display tech, so we'll have to give this ancient vibrator a pass. There's a water damage indicator sticker next to the USB-C charging port. I'll unclip the side button ribbons, along with the two long extension ribbons over the battery. And unfortunately for us, the battery adhesive is still permanent and very strong. I can drip some isopropyl alcohol in here to dissolve the adhesive and make the removal easier, but it's still rather annoying. ZTE should be charging $450 and a penny on their next phone so they can afford to install those battery pull tabs. Eventually, all phones do need to be recycled. And it's much harder to recycle them when extra steps are needed for the disassembly. And now everything under here is just slimy. Along with the new pull tabs, they can also get rid of this battery not removable message, since it obviously is still removable. Anyway, let's get back to finding that camera. The Axon 20 does have a copper vapor chamber under the battery, along with the ribbon for the display. I'll remove the two screws down here on the bottom board, and unclip the underscreen fingerprint scanner. Then the charging port board can come loose. Nothing super interesting to see on this thing. The interesting part is the optical fingerprint scanner. The optical part means that it's also using a camera to look through the display to see the fingerprint that's pressed up against the glass. The top camera, the main under-display camera, is a bit larger, but it looks pretty much the same as every other selfie camera that we've seen over the years. We'll take a closer look in just a second, but first we have to unbury everything else. The underscreen earpiece is underneath this metal bracket. Once that's removed with its 2 screws, the motherboard can come away from the phone, revealing a lot of pink thermal paste and another strange warning symbol up here in the corner, which looks like it's saying not to touch. I like though that this warning is on the underside of the motherboard, so the only way to see the do not touch warning is by touching it to see what's underneath. The underscreen earpiece is an oversized tic-tac looking block that vibrates the display to transmit its sound to your ear. And then of course we have the 4 rear cameras, the top 8 megapixel wide angle camera, the large 64 megapixel main sensor, the 2 megapixel depth camera, and the 2 megapixel macro camera, none of which have the optical image stabilization. Before I put the phone back together though, let's see if we can see through these displays. Remember, ZTE is using 2 different screens on the Axon 20. A tiny, lower resolution square patch up at the top, directly in front of the selfie camera, and then the rest of the screen is the normal 1080p Full HD OLED. And if we set up my own camera to focus on my pry tool, we can peer through the top camera hole and clearly re-jerry-rig everything with our own human eyes, all right here through that display. It's got a kind of post-apocalyptic hue from the layers of the screen that we're looking through, but I'm sure the camera's software compensates for that discoloration after it takes the picture. An interesting thing is that if we move the phone down to the bottom hole in the display for that underscreen fingerprint scanner, we can't see through the pixels anymore, since those pixels are more dense. I guess seeing the ridges up close on our fingerprint doesn't require as much transparency as producing an actual colored image does. I think this is all pretty cool technology, even for a first-generation version of an underscreen camera. It's pretty fun hanging out with all of you here and experiencing this history together. Feel free to leave a comment for your posterity to find in 50 years when they come back to see how it all started.
So that's pretty much what the under display selfie camera looks like, guys. So it looks pretty cool, guys. This phone, again, like you said, it's only going for, I believe, $400. If you're getting a phone like this, Androids sometimes could cost a little bit more expensive. It looks like this is also 5G as well. So this definitely has way more benefits and perks too, guys. So if you want to learn more about this phone too, guys, go ahead, follow us on LinkedIn, click into the article, and you can definitely learn more about this as well. Alright guys, lastly we have this new Oppo X 2021 rollable phone. Shows up in a new hands-on videos, right? So the first came the foldables, and now it looks like as though the rollable phones could be the future of devices that start off at one size and then transform into another. And 2 new hands-on videos have arrived to showcase one rollable in particular, the Oppo X 2021. Let's see if there's if a video is about to pop up in this article or if there's any more photos, and it looks like there is a video. So let's watch this video real quick and let's see how this is going to look.
Bon, Oppo X 2021, premier smartphone avec écran enroulable, et comme vous le voyez actuellement, oui, c'est impressionnant. J'ai eu la chance de prendre en main ce que je considère être un produit tout droit sorti de la science-fiction, le Oppo X 2021, smartphone de 6,7 pouces qui a la particularité de pouvoir dérouler son écran et atteindre un format tablette de 7,4 pouces. C'est un concept qui m'a tout de suite séduit. Je suis moi-même un utilisateur du Galaxy Z Fold 2, un smartphone qui peut se déplier et devenir comme un livre. J'ai aussi beaucoup aimé le Galaxy Z Flip, qui est un téléphone à clapet. Mais sur ces 2 smartphones, il y a un truc qui est systématiquement pointé du doigt, c'est la petite pliure au milieu. En même temps, c'est inévitable, imaginez une feuille de papier, si on la plie, elle plie. Ici, c'est complètement différent et vous allez tout de suite comprendre après vous être abonné et après avoir liké cette vidéo. Je suis désolé, mais c'est une condition obligatoire pour comprendre cette vidéo. Si ça tenait qu'à moi, j'aurais pas besoin de faire tout ça. Mais monsieur l'algo, il a dit que c'est comme ça, donc faut le faire. Blague à part, alors, comment ça fonctionne? En fait, on a le smartphone classique, un peu plus lourd que ce qu'on a l'habitude d'avoir, 272 grammes, mais très sympa, qu'on peut utiliser normalement avec un format tout à fait semblable à d'autres téléphones. On est sur une dalle de 6,7 pouces, OLED, totalement fonctionnel, on peut ouvrir des applications classiques, naviguer dessus et vraiment, on dirait un téléphone normal. C'est pas comme le format particulier du Galaxy Z Fold 2 qui est super étroit et super allongé. Là, vraiment, c'est un téléphone incurvé, certes, mais un téléphone classique. Et en parlant de smartphone classique, ce que vous avez sans doute remarqué, c'est que les contours du téléphone sont en plastique, qu'il n'y a pas de bouton volume et que le seul bouton présent sur ce smartphone, c'est le bouton de déverrouillage. Mais alors du coup, comment on déroule le téléphone, comment on flex dans le métro, comment on se la pète, etc. C'est justement avec ce bouton que le tour de magie va s'activer. On peut soit glisser son doigt au niveau du bouton, ou soit double-cliquer dessus pour activer le mécanisme qui va dérouler ou enrouler l'écran. On peut donc passer d'un écran de 6,7 pouces avec un format semblable à un smartphone à un écran de 7,5 pouces, plus rectangulaire, qui se rapproche davantage de la tablette. L'idée ici, c'est de profiter d'une plus grande surface d'affichage pour regarder une vidéo sur un plus grand écran, avoir plus d'espace pour jouer, avoir un meilleur viseur pour ses photos, pouvoir commencer un article sur le petit écran et ensuite l'afficher en plus grand pour évidemment se la péter dans le métro, évidemment. Tout ça dans quelque chose qui rentre facilement dans sa poche ou dans son sac, qui n'est pas super épais.
Yeah, guys, so as you can see that, this phone looks very, very clean. If you guys don't know what he's saying, he's pretty much just saying that the phone pretty much also has, all these OLED these screen features, as well as you can see through the video, once he taps the phone on the side too, it opens up, right? So it's kind of different. It's more rollable, right? It's not foldable, kind of like the Samsung Galaxy Zen Flip Z and other types of foldable phones too, right? So this guy does a really good job explaining, even though it is in French. But if you guys definitely want to learn more about this as well too, you guys want to watch more Oppo X 2021 videos from this article, you can go ahead, follow us on LinkedIn, click into the article, and you guys will be able to learn more. Okay. All right, so we are kind of running a little bit off time, guys. We will drop this in podcast